Hi, my name is Seph Fisher, also known as Krutch Rosé, and in today's episode of Rosé Rants and Reviews, we will be tackling Krutch Rosé itself. There we go. No, for real. The only thing that you can say is welcome to Rosé Rants and Reviews. Hi, my name is Seph Fisher, and now I'm also known as Krutch Rosé, as I launched this new project, Krutch Rosé, and in tandem with it, Rosé Rants and Reviews, which is what we are dealing with today. I would like to welcome you all to the first official episode of Rosé Rants and Reviews. It will be up on YouTube and Spotify, and I just want to thank you and give a little bit of an explanation as to what we're going to be getting into here in Rosé Rants and Reviews. So if you can't tell already, just from the first 30 seconds, I talk very fast, I talk a lot, and there's a lot of things that really interest me. And that's really what Rosé Rants and Reviews is going to be about. So I, Seph, or Krutch Rosé, am just going to be talking and ranting about anything that I find interesting, with each episode having a different topic. This topic being Rosé Rants and Reviews itself, as well as the Krutch Rosé project as a whole. As this is the first piece of media that is being put out by Krutch Rosé, I just want to say thank you again to anybody who has tuned in and anybody who's coming back in the future to check this out. Basically, what this is to me is a way to express and just talk about the things that I find interesting. And there's a huge list of things it can be. While a large percentage of stuff is going to pertain to anime, specifically Dragon Ball, there are other things. I like television. I like The Walking Dead. I like video games. I love Mortal Kombat. I like books. I like music. We're going to tackle so many different projects and so many different ideas that we're going to be, talking about. And sometimes I might have a little bit of a hard time where I pause for a second and I keep you on the edge of your seat while I'm trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to say next. But that's just kind of how I operate. So the way I'm going to do these rants and reviews is each episode is going to be about 7 minutes long, give or take. If I have a special guest, we're going to go double that, and we're going to go for a 14-minute. That's going to be how you're going to be easily able to decipher which ones have somebody else and which ones have me. So that way we get, both people's input and ample time for both people to speak. So that's what I'm really excited for. I have a couple of friends and some topics that I'd love to talk about that I'm excited to bring them on and have them share their opinions and, just talk about stuff with me. Their favorite shows, their favorite theories, that kind of stuff. I do want to say that I'm going to be shying away from speaking about any sort of current events or any sort of political stuff like that. That is the furthest thing from what Rosé Rants and Reviews is supposed to be about. Rosé Rants and Reviews is, in its truest form, a media and communication podcast, where we're going to be dealing with pop culture, history, mythology, theology, all of these different things, and we're not looking at it through any sort of opinionated lens, as much admiration and trying to understand and just enjoying things. I know that the word rants is in the title, but I really can't think of very many things that are going to have me upset. There's not really going to be too much angry ranting. When I say rant, it's just referring to the way that I speak, which is very fast, very quick, very non-stop, and meticulous with how I speak. I, Seph Fisher, or Krutch Rosé, have a peculiar way of speaking, to say the least. To name a couple of projects and things that we are going to be covering in the future, a large-scale project is going to be a run-through of the entirety of Dragon Ball, from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball GT to Dragon Ball Super to Dragon Ball Daima. We are going to be reviewing every single saga in an episode, crunch that down into those 7 minutes, and I'm going to share my thoughts about one of my favorite series of all time. I'm going to do a similar thing for The Walking Dead. I'm going to do a similar thing for Mortal Kombat, for each of the installments of the games. I'm very excited for all of this. The episodes that have special guests are not going to be traditional numbered episodes. They're going to be bonus episodes. You'll be able to tell because there's going to be a star or an asterisk, and it's going to say bonus by the title of the episode. Numbered episodes will only consist of having me and my rants. The bonus episodes and the collaborations with other people will cover tons of other things. Now, I want to make something clear. Those bonus episodes may cover content that I'm covering in my numbered episodes. For example, I know that I'm going to have a special guest appear when I get to the Red Ribbon Army arc of Dragon Ball. That will be placed in a bonus episode, but that will cover the contents of the Red Ribbon Army arc. However, I will also be covering said content on my own. So anything that is covered in a bonus episode that is part of a larger scale project will also be covered independently by me, Seph Fisher, or Krutch Rosé. So, I hope that clears up a little bit of stuff on that front. Now, we've only got about a minute and a half left in this episode, so I just want to say thank you to anybody who has tuned in. And I just want to say that this new project that I'm starting here, where I'm going to be sharing my interests and talking about things that I find interesting, it excites me. And as a student myself who is studying media and communication, I find that this is a unique way for me to, express myself. And I think it's going to be a fun ride. As for the consistency of these episodes, there's really nothing that I can give concrete. I'm going to try to aim for at least one a week. And I think we're probably sometimes going to have more than one a week. But, at minimum, we're going to try to shoot for one a week. And if I ever miss one, I will say that I missed that week in the next episode. And I will apologize for such. If there's anybody out there who is listening, to my rants and reviews, I just want to say thank you once more. And, my name is Seph Fisher. You can call me Krutch Rosé, and thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Rosé Rants and Reviews. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next episode, where we will be tackling the first saga of Dragon Ball. Ciao.